dealing with the Hispanics. Because, you know, when you're Hispanic, first of all, incredible people, unbelievable people. I have right now thousands of Hispanics working for me. They work hard. They're phenomenal, phenomenal, great energy. But you know what? When you're here legally, you don't want people pouring in. It has nothing to do with any kind of anything. You don't want people pouring in, taking your job, taking your house, doing things. You just don't want it. You want to go through a process. You want to come in. You want to be a proud American. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to have people coming in, lots of people coming in, but they're going to come in legally, okay? Now, two things. So I want to tell you about the wall. So we need a wall. It's going to happen. They said you can't build it, but China built one that's 13 times longer. China, 2,000 years ago, built the Great Wall of China. It's 13,000 miles long. Our wall has to be it's actually 2,000, but we have a lot of natural barriers. Our wall's 1,000 is what you need, 1,000 miles. China, they didn't have Caterpillar tractors, and we'll insist on using Caterpillar, not Komatsu, right? We're not using Komatsu. Remember the old sign, made in the USA, made in America, made in the USA? We're going back to those signs. We're going to be proud of it again. You know, we're going to be proud of it. When was the last time you saw a sign, a little poster or something on your car or your truck where it says made in the USA? They don't exist anymore. They don't exist. We're going to be proud of it. You know, other countries are proud of it. You know, you go to Japan, I mean, and I'm not knocking it for this. They want to buy Japanese products, okay? They don't want American products. We have a tremendous trade deficit with Japan, massive trade deficit with China. But with Japan, they don't want American products. They want products made in Japan because they're proud of their country. We're going to be proud of our country, and we're going to want products made in the USA. That's what we want, okay? So the wall happened, and people fell in love with it. And then I started saying, not only are we going to build the wall, but Mexico's going to pay. And all these politicians who are all taken care of, you know that, by the special interests and the lobbyists, 100%. You know, in Washington, they have firms that handle individual senators. It says Rubio on his forehead, like this, Rubio. It says Lion Ted Cruz. It goes Lion Ted. They have lobbyists that handle these guys. You go in, you pay a lot of money, and they produce, because they raise them a lot of money for their campaigns, and probably other things, but I can't say that because I don't know, all right? They probably do a hell of a lot more than that, but we don't want to know about it, right? But they raise money for their campaigns, and they're specialists. They're specialists in different senators. Here's the deal, folks. I'm putting up my own money. I don't have anybody handing me money. I've turned down tens of millions of dollars. When I fly that big plane here to be with you folks, it's expensive. I pay for it. I'm paying for it. So, but the point of it is that I'm not controlled by the lobbyists and the special interests. And I've hired many of the lobbyists. They're fantastic. The good ones will always produce. I mean, they'll always produce. So when I tell Carrier that, I'm sorry, folks, we don't like that you're moving to Mexico. We're going to charge you a 35% tax every time you make an air conditioning unit and sell it across our very strong border. And when they go crazy with the other guys, with a Hillary or with these guys, they're going to say, well, I'll work it out. We'll call our lobbyists. They'll work it out. 100% they work it out. With me, the lobbyists won't even call. Because here's what's going to happen. The head of Carrier will call me, and, you know, Ivanka and Melania said, you shouldn't be saying that. It's not presidential. They always like to say not presidential. I'm better than them. I tell you, someday we're going to have to compare IQs, okay? It's not presidential. I don't care if it's not presidential. I want Carrier not to leave our country. I want Nabisco not to leave our country. I want Ford not to leave our country. And I have Carl Icahn, the greatest business leaders in the world. I have many of them endorsing me, wanting to work, wanting to help. We have political hacks negotiating our deals. So here's what I do. I call up, or I have one of the killers from Wall Street. I know that we have the greatest business people, negotiators in the world. We don't use them. We use people that are diplomats. We have Carolyn Kennedy negotiating with Japan. Carolyn Kennedy. She didn't even know how she got the job. She was on television. She didn't know how she said, well, I asked for a job, and it was on 60 Minutes. And she's very nice. Ivanka likes her, so I like her too. But that doesn't mean I wanted to be our chief representative with Japan. So she said, yeah. I went in, I said, I'd like a job to the White House. Pretty good connections, right? And they said, oh, you would? Oh, that's good. How would you like to be ambassador to Japan? She goes, really? Well, this is our chief negotiator. Look, folks, we got to get smart. We take in billions and billions of cars in terms of dollars. Billions and billions. They play games with monetary manipulation that Obama knows nothing about. He doesn't have a clue. TPP doesn't even discuss monetary devaluation. And that's the chief weapon. That's how we're being killed by China and all of these. Because we make better products. But we can't compete because they devalue their currency so brilliantly. So brilliantly. So here's what happens. We've got the best people. I will have one of my guys, because I do want to act presidential, right? Should I act? And my guy will call up and say, listen, you're going to pay $35. They're going to call back the next day. They will have tried to get lobbyists. They will have tried to get special interests. They will have failed. And they're going to say, please tell the president that we're not leaving the United States. We'll build a new plant, maybe, in the United States. Not leaving. Now, that goes for Ford, and that goes for Nabisco. Now, a lot of the conservatives, because I'm a conservative guy, nobody more conservative on military or on health care. We're going to repeal and replace Obamacare 100%. Or on Common Core, nobody more. We're getting rid of Common Core. We're bringing our education local. Or on the Second Amendment, nobody more conservative than me. We're not going to touch our Second Amendment. Believe me, we are not touching our Second Amendment. So nobody more, but the purists, they say, well, Donald Trump's not a free trader. Well, I am a free trader. But to be a free trader, you need smart people on our side, too, negotiating. And we don't have those people. We're not using those people. We'll start, but we're not using those people. So until such time as trade is fair, I just want it to be fair. We don't even have to give them an edge. I don't care. But we can't lose $500 billion a year to China. We can't lose a fortune to Japan. You know, I was reading something just this morning an article where they didn't use numbers. They just said, yes, Japan sends into us tremendously more than we send back to them. Who needs these deals? Then they say, oh, you'll start a trade war. I say, well, that's better than what we have now. I mean, a trade war is better than losing all of this money. What are we doing? We have rebuilt China, and I love China. I have many Chinese friends. They can't believe they got away with this. They can't believe it, okay? They can't believe it. We have rebuilt China, and I always say, it's the greatest theft in the history of the world, what China's done to the United States. Because we've had stupid people at the helm. We've had incompetent leadership. It's not going to happen anymore, folks. A lot of you and a lot of Illinois is really feeling down, and your taxes are through the roof because so many companies have left. And you had great jobs 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Those jobs are now in other countries, in particular Mexico, but they're in other countries. We're not going to let it happen, okay? So now what happens is this. I'm really good on trade. I think, I'll do great. I think you have no doubt about it. In fact, when CNN does this big poll, they came out with a poll, and in the poll it talked about on the economy, I blow everyone away. On finance, I blow everybody away. I mean, like beyond, like 4 or 5 times higher. On the overall poll, I was 49, they're at 15, blow everyone. They don't love my personality as much. Actually, I have a nice personality, but who cares? Who cares? They say the best leader is Trump, but they don't necessarily think I'm a nice person. Let me tell you, I'm a nicer person than the people on stage with me, believe me. And you're going to find I'm a nicer person when our country starts getting smart again. You're going to like this person. So what's happened is the trade is great, the border is great, Sheriff Joe, we're going to build a wall. Vincente Fox used the F-bomb. If I would have used it, they would have given me the electric chair. He used it, nobody even mentions it. And his arrogance was incredible. And it wasn't that we said, you're going to pay for the wall. They said, Donald Trump talks about paying for the wall. He says, we will not pay for that you-know-what wall. Now, you know what they do? They bleep me when I say that, and everyone thinks I used a bad word. That's what they do. They bleep me. But he said that because he's not used to being spoken to that way. They're used to getting every single thing they want. And that's not going to happen anymore, right? Not going to happen anymore. So what happened is, you know I'm going to do well in the trade stuff. You know I'm going to do well in the economy. I'm going to be the greatest jobs-producing president that God ever created, believe me. We're bringing those jobs back. But here's something that I think, I love it. I did it yesterday again for the first time in a long time, but I love it. And it's sort of a poem that was a song. So we have a big problem with terror. And you saw they asked me the question about Islam the other day. And I said, I'll stick with my answer, because there's something going on, boy. There's a lot of hatred, whether you like it or not. And it's not politically correct, maybe. And certainly radical Islam and radical Islamic terrorism. And you don't see Obama even using the term. He doesn't even want to use the term genocide for Christians that are being beheaded. He's not using it. And nobody even understands why. I think I understand why, but I won't say it. Okay. So we have a problem with terrorism. And I want you to listen to this, because this represents terrorism. And it's called The Snake. The Snake, by Al Wilson. Anybody know Al Wilson? Great. Okay? So just listen. You're going to love this. No protesting until I finish, okay? On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty-colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. "Oh, well," she cried, "I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. Take me in, oh tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman," sighed the broken snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a curvature of silk, and then laid him by the fireside with some honey and some milk. Now she hurried home from work. As soon as she arrived, she found that pretty snake she'd taken in had been totally revived. "Take me in, oh tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman," sighed the broken snake. Now she clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried. "But if I hadn't brought you in by now, heaven's sake, you would have died." Now she stroked his pretty skin, and then she kissed and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. "Take me in, oh tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman," sighed the broken snake. "I saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bit me. Heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Oh, shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. "You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in." Right? Does everybody sort of get it? Folks, we have to be smart. We have to be vigilant. We have to build up our military. It's the cheapest thing we can do. I don't want to use it. Remember, I didn't want to go into Iraq. These other guys went in. But you don't get out the way Obama gets out. We have to have unpredictability with our military. You can't have generals talking to various reporters, and the whole thing is a mess. I don't think General Patton was big into doing interviews on television or any interviews. I don't think General Douglas MacArthur, what they did is they won. They go in and they won. It was tough, it was vicious, it was ruthless, it was war. It was war. They won. We've been playing around with ISIS. We can't beat ISIS. Think of it, our military. What would General George Patton say in his grave? He's spinning like a top. Can't even believe it. Can't even believe it. So here's the story. You got to go out and vote. I will never let you down. You're going to say it was the single greatest vote you have ever cast by far. You're going to look back in 2 years. You're going to look back in 2 years. You're going to look back in 10 years. You're going to look back in 20 years. You're going to say it was the most important vote you ever cast. Now, here's the story. We're going to start winning again. We're going to win with our military. We're going to take care of our vets. Don't listen to him. We're going to take care of our vets. Remember this. We're going to win with our military. We're going to take care of our vets. We're going to win at the border. We're going to win at trade. We're going to win so much. We are going to be great again. We are going to make America great again. I love you, Illinois. Go out and vote on Tuesday.